Fall practice is marching right along, leading up to the first game with Virginia. We're just coming out of our second scrimmage, and there's a lot to talk about. But before we get into fall practice and this scrimmage in particular, we wanted to discuss a couple of viewers had a couple of questions or comments that they wanted to kind of dive into. So let's take just a couple of minutes and respond back to them, and then we'll jump right into the scrimmage.
All right. First question comes from Joshua Deloach, 6169. His question was, how confident are y'all in our offensive line, especially now that Cooper is hurt? Would love to hear back. Y'all are my new favorite podcast. I like that last part the best.
We'll send check in the mail.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, Josh. Uh, I'm a little bit concerned, Tim. I don't think the offensive line will be a lot worse than last year. I think it's very similar. Your left tackles, Crawford, Minchie's switching over to the right. Your left that we pulled in, Campbell, I think will be better than what we had there last year.
Yeah, they improved on at left tackle. Obviously taking a step back at right, but we've got two guys that have started SEC ball games.
So they should be okay. At a easier position, generally speaking, right tackle is less stress as far as pass rushers goes. Uh, the real
Dragons should be a year better.
Yeah, Cooper, if he's healthy, that's
the big
the
if.
biggest if. If Cooper's not healthy, then we got some issues there. I think the left guard, we'll find. We've got too many people that's candidates. Somebody will work it out there, I do believe.
Yeah, I mean, people like Lane and stuff have played a lot of snaps, and maybe they're not like dominant players, but they've played a lot of snaps and haven't really been exposed.
Yeah.
So
My biggest concern as far as the offensive line goes is if we take a little step back. Well, last year we was, I believe we was eighth in the league in sacks allowed. Now we got a quarterback which is less elusive than what Hooker was.
Yep.
With Milton. Milton can run, but he's just not as elusive as Hooker was. Hooker saved us some sacks.
yeah, there's a couple of his plays last year. I don't think Houdini could do any better.
He was fantastic at that. And our yards per carry was average in the conference. So I think our offensive line was just good enough last year to make the offense run at that efficiency. What happens if our offensive line takes a step back? What if we drop, have 5, 6 more sacks, or our yards per carry drops from 5 yards per carry to say 4.6, 4.7? Then this offense takes a step back, regardless, really, of who's at quarterback.
Yeah.
So, though we need to maintain those numbers
at minimum.
At minimum, and that is concerning. Now, I think we will have a good offense regardless. But if we're going to be in the top 10, top 5 in the country, offensive line has to step up.
Yeah. So, concerned, yes. Panic button, not yet.
Exactly.
Let's see what Cooper gets back by Florida. And if not, then we might have a big red button out here for y'all on a future episode.
Our next question comes from I'm No Stop. If you could add 4 players, 2 on offense and 2 on defense from any Tennessee team in the last 40 years, who would it be?
Well, for me, I'm leaving a lot of great ball players out, but I'm just looking at what I think the weaknesses of this team is. Defensively, I like our front 7. I think we could use another pass rusher, but, and I'm saying our corners are great, but those safeties screen, help. So I'm going to grab the 2 best safeties I can think of, and that's Dale Carter and Eric Berry.
Can't go wrong with those.
Yeah, I mean, they're so good on both things. I mean, they could both cover and bring the pain in the run game.
Yeah, you don't see too many safeties who can do both, or equally as good at stopping the run and stopping the pass. And those 2 guys were the definition of playmakers, and that's what you want on offense, defense, offense and defense.
Yeah. Well, that safety spot too. I mean, that's where you should be getting a lot of your interceptions from. I mean, your man-to-man corners should be knocking passes down more than they're intercepting. But so that's where I'm going on defense. On offense, I see a big gaping hole right now at guard. I think Trey Smith can fill that hole. And then you've got there's so many other. I'd love to see CP in this offense. I'd love to see Garner,
So many.
Kamara. But you know what? I believe Heupel loves a large power back that can take it. And we just happen to have one of the best that's ever played the game in Jamal Lewis.
Hmm.
Promise you, Georgia would not be playing light in the box against us like they did last year. We had Jamal Lewis running and pounding down their throats. They couldn't have done it.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm going with my four.
Okay. My four, kind of same thinking, Tim. There's lots. My four guys, there's better guys out there that's probably played some of them, but I think it's kind of a need position thing. I went for Terry McDaniel. Probably, in my opinion, the best corner was probably had during that time frame. Because we know we definitely need secondary help. And what's the secondary's best friend is a great pass rush. And I think we're going to be good there this year. But if I could add, in my opinion, probably the best pass rusher we've had down there
Even though
in that time frame.
yeah, well Reggie kind of falls in that time frame,
It's
but
right on the edge.
yeah, on the edge.
But it's Leonard Little. I mean, the guy was dynamic and was just a playmaker. Seemed like he was always causing a fumble or a sack or a rush.
There's no doubt he would be the Leo in this defense.
Yeah. Lots of guys. I mean, you could choose, bunches of guys on there. And on offense, instead of going with Trey Smith, which is outstanding, and you can't beat that at guard. But I also thought about guard as well. So I'm gonna go with a different guy, Cozy Coleman.
Cozy, yeah.
Very good guard as well. And my other guy I'm just going to take another offensive lineman. I mean, I think we're good at tackle, but if you could add a Chad Clifton, you could make that offensive line go from being, maybe a weak point to a
Yeah,
strength.
Clifton was great. Teague was. But yeah, that offensive line would be pounding people.
I think our skill position guys are good enough to make things work in this offense. So if you can improve that offensive line, that could be scary good on offense. Feel free to give who y'all would think in the comments. That'd kind of be interesting who y'all would
Yeah, I'd
go
like to see who y'all would pick on that. But now let's turn back into this scrimmage and the last week or so of fall practice.
with. Okay. Let's go with the last practice or two before the scrimmage, and we'll get into scrimmage. Some news and notes from there is Andre Turrentine. Seemed like he's made some progress at safety, playing much faster. A guy who's kind of got lost in the shuffle, and seems like maybe he might be making a move. If he could take one of those safety spots, that'd be huge.
Oh yeah, it would be.
Brandon Turnage is making some noise as well. The talent's been there with him. It just seems like with him, he can't stay healthy. If he can stay healthy, he's going to help his secondary
Yes.
somewhere. It may be star, it may be corner.
Yeah, and they're both getting their opportunity to shine right now because Haddon's been banged up, Walker's been banged up, and of course I think Tank he's not missed. I mean he's missed I think a little bit because of the potential of his legal situation.
Mm-hmm.
So these guys are getting opportunity to see what they can do.
Mm-hmm.
And Tamarian McDonald's been a little banged up too, but don't think nothing major on that.
I think a lot of these guys are just being precautious.
Yes.
I mean, I'm hoping a precaution. I don't know. To make sure it's not an injury that prolongs itself into the season. Another guy I've heard several people talk about in the last week, who's kind of a forgotten freshman behind Ricky Gibson, Jordan Matthews, who's Christian Conyers. He's making some buzz.
Yeah, a lot more out of him. He was really behind them coming out of spring. Sounds like he's catching.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and jumping to the scrimmage, I reckon T-Lander and Carter played very well in the scrimmage. T-Lander actually got a pick toward the end of the scrimmage.
well, that shouldn't be a big surprise for people that's caught up with this because T-Lander has been a super pleasant surprise, and Carter is there an adjective to fit what they've talked about with him?
I don't know, man. I've pumped him up so much. I gotta be quiet on him. I've done made him, he's going to have like a cape.
Yeah, I mean, he's never going to live up to his billing right now. It doesn't matter what he does.
Some other guys that flashed was Omar Norman Lott, which I've been hearing a lot of here lately, and James Pierce, another Leo. He looked good, and that's a really important spot, obviously.
Yeah, super talented guy right there.
Hmm.
Very, very, very glad he's showing up because he may have the highest upside of anybody on that Leo team.
Maybe. Wright looked fantastic again, and Selden, another freshman. We keep talking about, these guys was looking great. Um,
Yeah,
Tim Selden's looking good.
yeah. Now, for those that don't know, Bob never really does a lot of projecting, but he has said that Selden will be your first Heisman Trophy winner, not runner-up, winner at UT.
We're going to break the glass ceiling, as they say. I think what it's going to be, I think Ethan Davis, Selden, Nico, and maybe, Mike Matthews share the award, Tim, I think.
Oh, is that it?
I think they're going to share it. All four of them's going to be there, and we're going to set records for yards and touchdowns. And it's going to be very interesting.
Well, I'll take your word for it, Bob, because
Y'all can take that to the bank, take that
yeah,
straight to the bank.
they stripped me of
Cash
my
it.
vote years ago when I picked Garantano to be a first Heisman winner for UT.
Yeah.
So I'm no longer allowed to be a part of that conversation.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah.
if we were to, I might say that Joe Milton uh, looked really accurate again in the scrimmage, yet again.
I'm becoming less and less worried about him with each report. I was a little bit concerned about him, but man, I tell you what, from everything I keep hearing, he's been just deadly accurate.
Yeah, it's been phenomenal. But now, once again, let's wait till the lights go on and get into a real game situation. I think everybody's excited.
Mhm.
Everybody's kind of holding their breath too.
Yeah, I mean, if he could just run it efficiently and try to cut back on the sacks and stuff like that, I think we're going to have to be great again. I think the offense is going to shine.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, it's every day, one of the biggest things is try to stay away from injuries at this point in camp.
Oh, yeah.
We've had a couple concerning. I mean, obviously, everybody talks about Cooper,
Hmm.
but, Weathersby, the freshman, who looks like a 35-year-old man with mortgage and kids, uh, out for the year, hip injury.
Yeah, I hate that. I hope hips can be, those can stretch out a while. I sure hope that's not a thing end up costing him his career or something, because
Yeah.
it's
By the way, we don't know anything.
oh yeah,
so
we don't know that, but
we're not saying that at all.
I mean, hips, it ain't like a hamstring or a broken ankle or
Your
something like
knee.
that, or yeah.
Yeah, they can be more a little trickier.
But yeah, you got him, which I really super high on that guy. They said he was going to be in the rotation as a freshman. So you got him that's an injury. That's something to worry about a little bit. And who's the other guy?
Elijah Simmons,
Yeah.
who has been
We've been pumping up.
pumping up. Yeah, he don't know how bad it is. Don't know if it's going to be like a day or two or a month or whatever.
Yeah.
There's no information at this time right now. But I hope it's minor because he's worked his tail end off.
Hmm.
You like to see, just a good guy who really throws himself into it. Finally, giving it all, and hope he can come back.
I hope so, because I think he can make a difference in this defense. Well, I think that's about it, Tim.
I believe it is. If y'all would like to enjoy talking UT football, hey, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share it a little bit with your friends. But until then, next time, go Big Orange.
Go Vols.